Have you ever just stopped and wondered how scientists even begin to make sense of the millions and millions of species on our planet? It seems like an impossible task, right? Well, it turns out there's a really fascinating system that brings a beautiful kind of order to all that chaos. So today, we're going to take a tour of that system, the five kingdoms of life.
I mean, really think about it. You've got everything from a microscopic bacterium all the way up to a colossal blue whale. The diversity of life is just staggering. So how do we organize it? How can we possibly see the patterns and the connections between every single living thing? For a long, long time, the answer has been this brilliant classification system. Biologists basically created a map of five huge kingdoms, and that map serves as our guide through the vast and tangled tree of life. So let's use it as our roadmap for today's exploration. Okay, our tour has five main stops. We're going to kick things off with the simplest forms of life in Monera, then we'll meet the eclectic misfits of Protista. After that, we'll check out the planet's great recyclers in fungi, visit the producers in Plantae, and we'll wrap things up with the consumers in Animalia. Yep, the kingdom we call home. So our journey begins right at the beginning, with Kingdom Monera. This is the realm of the true pioneers of life. We're talking about bacteria and their relatives, some of the most ancient, widespread, and honestly successful organisms on the entire planet. So the key to understanding Monera is that very first word you see, prokaryotic. All that means is their cells don't have a nucleus. They're all single-celled, and they have this unique cell wall made of something called peptidoglycan. You can kind of think of it like a strong but flexible chain-link fence made of sugars and proteins. And when it comes to food, they're incredibly versatile. Some are autotrophs, making their own food, while others are heterotrophs, getting nutrients from their environment. Let's dig into that word prokaryotic a little more. Imagine a cell where its genetic blueprint, its DNA, isn't neatly filed away in a central office. Instead, it's just kind of floating around freely inside. This simple, super efficient design was the original model for all life, and for billions of years, it was the only game in town. Okay, so from that very simple blueprint, life took a massive evolutionary leap forward. Welcome to Kingdom Protista. Now, I like to call them the misfits, or maybe even the biological junk drawer, because, well, they're this wonderfully diverse bunch of organisms that just don't neatly fit anywhere else.
The absolute game changer with protists is their cell type, eukaryotic. For the very first time, we have a true nucleus. Now, most are still single-celled, but some are starting to experiment with being multicellular. And their ways of getting energy, just as diverse. Some act like plants, some like animals, and some like fungi, kind of foreshadowing the kingdoms that are still to come. You know, this transition from prokaryotic to eukaryotic cells is one of the most important innovations in the entire history of life. Why? Well, because having that nucleus acts like a secure command center, protecting the cell's precious DNA. This new level of organization allowed for much more complex genetic instructions, and that opened the door for the incredible complexity we're about to see in the other kingdoms. Next up, Kingdom Fungi. Yep, we're talking mushrooms, yeasts, and molds. These organisms are the planet's essential recycling crew, and they have a completely unique and fascinating way of eating that really sets them apart. So, like us, fungi are eukaryotic, and they're typically multicellular. But what's really fascinating is how they eat. They're heterotrophs that absorb their food. And here's a cool fact for you. Their cell walls are made of chitin, which is the exact same tough material that makes up the exoskeletons of insects and spiders. How cool is that? So how does this whole absorption thing work? It's pretty amazing. Unlike us, where we digest food inside our bodies, fungi do it on the outside. They release these powerful enzymes into their environment that break down organic matter. And then they just soak up the resulting nutrient soup. They basically dissolve their dinner before they eat it. All right, our journey now takes us to a kingdom that literally paints our world green, Plantae. From the mightiest redwood trees to the humblest blade of grass, plants are the producers. They are the foundation of almost every ecosystem on land, all thanks to their ability to create their own food. Plants are eukaryotic, and they have absolutely mastered complex multicellularity. You can see it in their specialized tissues and organs. You know, roots that anchor, stems that support, leaves that capture sunlight. Their claim to fame is that they are autotrophs, or self-feeders, through photosynthesis. And their rigid structure? That comes from cellulose, the strong, fibrous material that makes up things like wood and paper. So, what exactly is photosynthesis? Well, it's this remarkable chemical process where plants harness sunlight,
water, and carbon dioxide to create their own food in the form of sugar. But it doesn't stop there. This incredible feat of chemistry doesn't just fuel the plant. It sustains nearly all other life on Earth and generates the very oxygen in every single breath we take.
And now for our final destination, a kingdom we know quite intimately, Animalia. From a humble sponge to a soaring eagle, and of course, ourselves. We are the consumers. Our lives are defined by movement and the constant search for food to fuel our bodies.
So, just like plants, we're eukaryotic and have complex multicellular bodies. We're also heterotrophs, just like fungi, but instead of absorbing nutrients, we ingest our food. We take it into our bodies to break it down. And here's the key distinction. We don't have a cell wall. That absence of a rigid outer layer is exactly what gives us the incredible freedom of movement that is so characteristic of animal life. And this is the complete opposite of fungi, right? We don't digest outside, we ingest. We take solid food into our bodies, whether that's with a mouth or a beak or some other structure, and then we use all of our internal systems to break it down and pull out the nutrients. This whole process of internal digestion is only possible because we have the most intricate level of organization we've seen on our whole tour. Animal bodies are just these marvels of engineering, with specialized tissues forming organs, and those organs working together in harmony as complex systems, like our digestive system, nervous system, circulatory system. It's really the peak of multicellular life.
And just like that, our tour is over. From the simple, nucleus-free world of Monera all the way to the intricate systems of Animalia, the 5 kingdoms give us a really powerful way to understand life's staggering diversity. But here's the thing about science. It's a journey, not a destination. With new genetic tools, we're constantly redrawing the map of life, finding unexpected connections. So what will this map look like in 50 years? What new kingdoms might be waiting for us to discover? It's a thrilling question to think about. Thanks for joining me on this exploration.